Hello and welcome to this video on Python 3 programming. It has been quite some time since I uploaded Python programming videos. A lot of has changed. Now we have Python 3.12 in production, and after 3.10 a change has happened. A big change is coming slowly. That change is Shannon's proposal. Let me show you what Shannon proposal is. Shannon proposal Python. Okay, so this is what Mark Shannon from Microsoft has proposed. Okay, it's a plan. Okay, now based on this plan, a lot of work is going on. Guido van Rossum has come back actually, and one of the things which will happen is the GIL will be eventually gone. GIL means Global Interpreter Lock of Python. So it is not done yet. It's not fully implemented, but Python is showing considerable performance improvement. Note that this article is more than 1 year old, and yes, I have made the video long time ago. So if you look at the Shannon proposal, week 13, so there are lots of things going on here. Okay, not really this one. Shannon's proposal, I don't remember where the PEP is there. So you can Google around Shannon's proposal to Python and find out more about it. So once Shannon's proposal is fully implemented, Python will become much faster, and the global interpreter will be done for, will be removed, and you will have true multi-threading in Python at full clock speed. So continuing from where we left, I will introduce three more functions. One is filter, another is float, and the last one is format. So the filter function has this prototype. It takes a function, it takes an iterable. Iterable means it could be a list, it could be a string like that, or it could be a dictionary, things like that. If the function is not none, then it is defined as item for item in iterable if function item. And if function is none, then it is item for item in iterable if item. So I have this list which is 0, false, 1, 2, 3. And we have a function ff. We just take I and we return true. So if I is true, it will return true. Now what will happen is this returns an iterable here. This item for item will give us an iterable. So what will happen is, or rather actually to show you, just print this filter ball. Okay, you will see what happens. All right, so just run it. The lib4.py. So it gives us a filter object. Okay, that filter object, when iterated upon, it will print the values in that. It will print 1, 2, 3. Now if we wanted, we could have printed only even numbers. So we just substitute this with I percentage 2 is equal to 0. It should print only 0 and 2. 1 and 3 will not, it will not print 0, it will print only 2. So you see, it prints only 2. So similarly, you can have quite complicated logic here. There is no constraint on this logic. Based on your logic, if some logic succeeds, then return true. So for example, it could be a test for a prime number. So you might have a list of prime numbers in here, and you test here for primality, and if the test succeeds, only then return true. Basically, it will take only those elements for which the function returns true. Now let's try making the function none. If the function is none, if item is true, So in this case, 0 and false won't be printed. It will print 1, 2, 3. Just like the original implementation of return true if item is true. So this implementation is basically a shortcut. This is effectively the function is none. Okay. If you do this way, effectively it is function is none. So in general, you want to write more logic here like this. Okay. So we say f. So for example, we can call is instance of is instance. I don't remember the exact call. Is equal to int. Probably this will work. Let me is instance of, or rather type. Don't remember, so let me quickly Google it. It will be is instance Python. So is instance is a function. I remember it, but okay. It would be is instance I comma int. If this is true, then it will print true. In this case, 0, 1, 2, 3 should be printed. So let's run this. Yeah. If I is also there, so we remove. Now 0, 1, 2, 3 should be printed. False is also treated as an integer. I did not know. Okay. False is also an integer. Okay. Now here to test further, we introduce a string. The string is not printed. Okay. You want to introduce a dictionary. X:7. The dictionary is not printed. So in this case, only integers will be printed. So that's the filter function. We move on to float. Now there is nothing special about float. You won't typically use it in general. Okay, in general it is not used. So there are several things here. The sign could be plus or minus. Infinity is infinity or inf. Nan is a nan. That is not a number. A numeric value could be a floating point number, infinity or nan. And the string is sign and then followed by the numeric value. So the first is a string. So string 1.23 I'm passing to float, it will make it 1.23. Then there is a minus. Okay. Then I have the exponent form of float. Then minus infinity and nan. And finally, I have overloaded the underscore float function on a class. And once you do that, you can invoke float on an instance of class. So let's see this. So it prints all those strings and integers and infinities and nans and the class. So one of the common uses which I can think of is actually you invoke it on a float, on a class. When you want to have something like a numerical value for a class. So that's the only place where I think it could be used. Now we will look at the last one, the format function. Okay. Now note that these examples are taken straight from Python docs. Okay. I have not created a single example here in the format, example here. Close this. We want to concentrate on some of the implementation. The format in general is invoked on string. That's how it works. Now, in the string, you can have these 0, 1, 2 with braces. These indicate the positions in the argument of format. The format has 3 arguments, in this case, character ABC, or rather a string ABC. Python does not have a notion of character. So string A is at 0th position, B is at first position, and C is at second position, 0, 1, and 2. So it will print ABC. Now you can omit the positions inside the braces. So now by default, they will go into their respective places. First to the first, second to the second, and third to the third. When you use the numbered index, the number index does not need to be ordered. So in this case, this will print CBA. In this case, we are unpacking the argument ABC. So A will become 0th, B will become first, and C will become second. Similarly, you can repeat them. It is not necessary when you are using indexed one. Okay? When you have numbers inside index, you can repeat them. For example, I can say 1 here. Okay, it will repeat the entire string. Now, there are named arguments. Okay, when there are named arguments, the format will take values associated with the name. So in this case, latitude is 37.24 north, minus 115.81 west. So we can name them here. We use the name and this will print the coordinates. Now you can use a dictionary also and then unpack it here. Okay, you don't necessarily need to write here. For example, there are lots of arguments in your format. That is better to put them in the dictionary, then unpack them. That makes the code look clean. The other advantage would be you can reuse the dictionary at other places also. Now suppose you have a complex number like this, 3 minus 5j. You can invoke the methods real and imaginary here, or rather the members, and it will print the real and imaginary parts. Now similarly, you can have a class and you can invoke str. Now str is making use of the format. Okay, format is you are passing self as the named argument, and you can invoke the numbers x and y. We will see these in action, and then we further proceed to these further examples. So we run this, and the output is there for you to see, which you can look at your leisure by pausing the video, and when you are ready, you can resume the video. So we comment this, and we look at more types. So I think we can cover all this in one shot. So rep shows the codes, but the string does not. This is the shortcut for printing the invoking the underscore underscore str, and this is the shortcut for invoking underscore underscore rep underscore underscore. Now if you use less than, then it will be left aligned, the width of the entire row. If you use right angular bracket, then it will be right aligned. If you use caret, it will be centered. And if you use star caret, then it will be filled with stars. If you use plus, then it will always show the sign. If you use a space, then it will print a space around the positive value. If you use minus, then it will show only negative signs. Okay. Now it can print decimals. D is for decimal. It can print hex, it can print octal, and it can print binary. So, okay. So let's see this here. Okay, let's see this in. So you see how it works. So the other thing is, if you do a hash x, then it will put a 0x in front of it. If you do hash o, it will print 0o and 0b in case of hash b. So that's how it works. Let's remove this, and we print. Suppose you have a large number which you want to separate by thousands, you put comma here. Okay. If you want to print a floating point number with 2 decimal corrections, then it will follow 0.2%. Suppose you want to print date, then this is the shortcut for printing dates, which is basically time.strft time syntax. Now we have an example here. We take the alignment as left, in this case, center and right, and the text is left, center and right. We fill this with the value align. Okay, and then we pass in the alignment. We print it for a width of 16. Let's see how this looks. Before that, we can look at the octets. This will print the hexadecimal values of this. And if width is 5, we again print floating point numbers. and integers with D, X, O, and B. Let's see how it looks. So these are octal values, these are decimal values, these are floating, these are decimal values, and these are binary values. This is the last example here. That is what is shown here. Okay. And 192 to 168.01, this is basically a private IP address format. Okay. This will be printed in this fashion. So 192 is C0, 168 is A8, and 0 is 00, and 1 is 01. And the alignment example is here. This is the date example. This is the floating point presentation, and this is the printing a large number with the separations at thousands, separation by thousands by putting a comma here. So these cover mostly all the examples of format. So in this video, we have covered 3 functions, 3 inbuilt functions. In the next video, we will cover 3 more or maybe 4 more, depending on how involving they are, because I want to keep this video short. So I'll see you in the next video. By the way, if you have found this video useful and informative, please subscribe to the channel and share and like, comment, however you wish. I welcome all comments because there is no restriction on what you want to comment about. You can comment about Python, or if you want to talk about other programming languages, you are most welcome. You want to talk about other stuff in general, you are most welcome. The only thing is that be respectful to people in the chat. And the other reason for asking for subscription, shares, and likes is that it motivates me to make more such videos. The other advantage is that the reach of the video grows with these activities from user. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Happy programming.